As a 911 operator, I encounter eerie calls that blur reality and the supernatural. Now, I struggle with whether to uncover the truth or let the mystery rest. I work as a 911 operator, and let me tell you, our district is seriously underfunded, especially considering the weird calls we handle. I don't exactly love my job, but with job opportunities being scarce and the call center just a short walk from my place, I don't have much choice. We get calls about all kinds of things, from the usual stuff like domestic disputes and break-ins to the more bizarre, like animals that have been shaved or buildings that aren't where they're supposed to be or where they definitely shouldn't be. To give you an idea of what I mean, here's a call I handled that I initially thought would be pretty standard. It was 11:52 p.m. when the phone rang. I quickly set my book down and picked up the receiver. 911, what's your emergency? A small, timid voice responded. I need a policeman to come. Hearing a child's voice caught me off guard, but I stayed calm. Sure thing, sweetie. Can you tell me what's happening? I could hear the child breathing unevenly on the other end. I knew better than to push her, so I waited. Finally, the little girl said, "A bad man is in my house." My heart sank, and I immediately had officers ready to roll. Okay, can you tell me where you are and if you're safe? There was a pause, and then she whispered, I'm at my house. I'm hiding in my closet under my clothes. I think he hurt my mommy. The way she said it so matter-of-factly broke my heart. I got her address and assured her the police would be there in 5 minutes. The officers are on their way, honey. They'll be there soon. Just stay quiet and stay on the line with me, okay? We've got a police radio set up in the call center, so I turned it on to listen in. Officer 1. Dispatch, we've arrived. The building looks run down and vacant. Approaching the front. The door's unlocked. Officer 2. Back door's unlocked too. Moving in. I could hear the door creak open through my headset, letting me know they were in the right place. My heart was pounding as I whispered into the mic. The police are there. Just let them search the house. The girl giggled. I know. That response froze me in my seat. Something about it was off, and it made my stomach churn. Suddenly, the police radio crackled to life again. Officer 1. I've got a body here, and it's a mess. Could be an animal attack or some psycho with a bladed weapon, continuing the search for the girl. As I listened, the girl's voice drifted through my headset, humming a nursery rhyme. I couldn't bring myself to hang up. Then, one of the officers cursed loudly. What the hell is that? A gunshot rang out, followed by screaming, so much screaming. The sounds that followed ripping fabric, cries of pain, and other unidentifiable wet noises were almost too much to bear, and just as quickly as it began, it stopped. The only sound left was that same humming. With tears in my eyes, I looked over at my supervisor, who had patched into the call. The look on his face matched mind shock and disgust. I nearly fell out of my chair when the girl spoke again. Thank you. She giggled once more, and I could only hear heavy breathing as I reached over to disconnect the call. My supervisor walked over to the county map, took a red pin from the box, and pressed it into the map. It joined 100 other red pins, each marking a place we'd never send responders to again. Regular calls are marked with green pins, yellow pins for the strange ones, and red, like I said, for the no-go zones. That call I just shared was pretty heavy, I'll admit. Fortunately, we don't get ones like that too often. Sure, our map has a lot of red, but that's from decades of records. And yeah, the number of red calls has shot up in recent years. But it's not all doom and gloom here at Greenbrier 911. I was almost at the end of my night shift when the phone lit up again. I put on my headset and answered, Greenbrier 911, how can I help you? This time, the voice on the other end belonged to a woman, probably middle-aged and clearly irritated. I need an officer here with a gun. Ma'am, are you in danger? Can you give me your location? The caller let out an annoyed sigh. Would I be calling if I didn't need you? Stop wasting time and send an officer. Her voice got so shrill at the end that it made me wince. My supervisor noticed and gave me the all good signal. I gave him a thumbs up. Of course, ma'am. could you give me an address or a nearby intersection? She growled into the phone. You waste my taxes on stupid stuff, but you can't track my call? Fine. It's at the corner of Grover and 3rd. I thanked her and asked for more details. She shouted back, There's a moose in my bathtub. I went to take my morning shower, and there's a freaking moose standing in my tub. I was at a loss for words. I was expecting a noise complaint or maybe a suspicious person, not a wild animal. I typed the info into the computer and sent it to police dispatch. Not even a minute later, my personal phone buzzed with a text. Yo, Kylie, you mean to say moose? Andrew was on dispatch that night. I confirmed, yes, I did indeed mean a moose. That's whack. I'll let the officers know. 20 minutes later, I was listening to the whole fiasco on the police radio. Animal control finally managed to tranquilize the moose, but that led to another problem. It was too big to fit through the door. So they had no choice but to take down an exterior wall. They used a reach forklift to lift the poor thing out of the bathtub. But in the middle of it all, the moose woke up and broke free from its restraints. It fell to the ground but seemed perfectly fine as it dashed off into the woods. As for how it ended up in that bathtub, well, your guess is as good as mine. Working the night shift is a whole different ballgame. It's like folks lose their minds the moment the sun sets. It's not easy to find people willing to pull a graveyard shift, partly because of the weirdness that comes with it, but mostly because of Jordan. Jordan isn't from around here, unlike most of us at the call center. He used to be some big-shot editor for a newspaper on the East Coast before he got canned and moved out to little old Greenbrier. There are all sorts of rumors floating around the office about why he got fired, none of them too flattering. But honestly, Jordan kind of brought that on himself. He's a stickler for rules and not exactly the friendliest guy. Show up 5 minutes late? You're getting written up. Miss a detail on a call? Another write-up. Someone calls back to complain about you? Yep, you guessed it. Another write-up. I'm a pretty quiet person who sticks to doing my job, and I think that's the main reason Jordan doesn't hassle me. I'd still prefer to work the day shift, but since I get an extra $1 an hour for working nights and I get along fine with the night shift supervisor, I end up taking more night shifts than most. One of those night shifts brought me a call that still sticks with me. It had been a quiet night overall. We'd only had one call earlier about a raccoon stealing garbage cans and dragging them into the woods. Animal control had a handful with the 37-pound critter, but no one was hurt, and the trash cans were returned to their rightful owners. Then at 5:02 a.m., the phone rang. Greenbrier 911, what's your emergency? A man's voice responded, already sounding frustrated. Hi, this is going to sound dumb, but I'm stuck in my house. All right, sir, who am I speaking with? And are you in immediate danger? The man replied, James Oswald. No, I don't think I'm in danger. It's just that I can't get out. Look, I just need someone to come open the door, okay? James, are you saying your door won't open? Have you tried the back door or maybe a window? James sounded more annoyed now. Do you think I haven't already tried that? I've been stuck in here for a while, and I've tried everything short of breaking down a wall, okay? I need someone to come here and possibly break the door down. All right, James, I'll get the fire department out there as soon as they can. What's your address? He seemed a bit more satisfied after that, and I got his address and forwarded it to the Greenbrier FD dispatch. I stayed on the line with James while he waited for help to arrive. He explained how he'd tried kicking the door down but couldn't budge it. He even attempted to break a window, but they were security glass, and he couldn't get through them either. I found that a bit odd, but didn't say anything. About 30 minutes later, I got a message from the fire department saying they were on site. I heard the voices of the firefighters crackle over the radio. Greenbrier Fire Department, is anybody home? There was no response. They called out a few more times. Greenbrier Fire Department, can you hear us? Do you need assistance? Hello? James remained silent on the line, so I called out to him through my headset. James, the fire department is at your front door. Can you hear them? His breathing was still there, but it had become irregular. Feeling a growing sense of unease, I radioed the first responders. "Hey guys, just a heads up, something doesn't feel right about this." "Yeah, I hear you, but there's not much happening here. The house looks abandoned. No one's home, and it doesn't seem like anyone's been here for years. The front door was even unlocked," one of them replied, his voice echoing through the empty rooms as he spoke into the radio. "We'll do a quick sweep of the place, but we've got broken windows, unlocked doors, and enough dust to grow corn." Annoyed, I turned off the radio and focused back on the headset. "James, is this some kind of prank?" I asked. I heard what sounded like a sniffle, and then James's voice returned. Please don't hang up. Whatever you do, just don't hang up," he pleaded, the desperation in his voice unmistakable. "I don't know if I'll get through again. It's been so long, so damn long. I've tried calling every day, but no one ever answers. And if they do, they can't hear me and they hang up. Please, just hear me out, okay? I didn't abandon my family. I didn't run away. God, they must think the worst of me by now. I was just doing my job, okay? I was checking out the building. I'm a home inspector, that's what I do. I inspect places. I came in and no one was here, so I did my job. But I couldn't get out. I miss them so much, and I don't know why I can't get out." His speech was fast and panicked. "Hold on, James, are you saying you're inside the house?" I asked. "Yes," he shouted. "I'm in the house, okay? I've been here for who knows how long. There's a phone on the wall, and I try every day to call out, to get somebody to answer, to get somebody to show up and get me out of this hellhole. So I'm begging you, please don't hang up. I haven't heard a voice in so long. I need to know VJ Klus. No, I need my family to know I didn't abandon them. My little boy, DJ Hiss, my little boy needs his daddy." James was becoming frantic. "My name is James Oswald. I'm a home inspector," he repeated. I tried to interrupt. "James, I need you to... Please, for the love of all that is holy, save me." His voice roared through my headset, making me wince at the sudden outburst. He broke into sobs, his words becoming incoherent. The sound of James Oswald's voice started to fade into static. He made a few more desperate pleas before the line went dead. I sat there, trying to wrap my head around what I had just heard. Was this some elaborate prank, or was it something much worse? Jordan leaned back in his chair, glancing out of his office at me. "Kylie, don't forget to pin the call," he said, before going back to whatever he was doing, as if we had just handled a routine call about a cat stuck in a tree. Numbly, I did as he instructed, pressing a yellow pin into the map at the address the call had supposedly come from. When I got home that night, I couldn't stop thinking about James. I had to know if there was any truth to his story. I Googled his name, and a flood of results came up. Missing person reports, news clips showing his distraught wife begging the public for any information. I couldn't bring myself to watch the video of James's 5-year-old son talking about his missing father. Just seeing the thumbnail brought tears to my eyes. The weight of sadness that poor child carried at such a young age was unbearable. I thought about reaching out to the family, even though I wasn't sure what I'd say. They deserved some kind of closure. But the most recent date on the reports was from 1986. James's son would be older than me by now. No, it wouldn't help. I closed my laptop, deciding not to reopen old wounds. I'm exhausted. I think it's time to call it a night.